have been crowned kings of the court down here in Brazil. And by direction from the crowd, Paul, there's making no mistake about it.
St. John Smith, Randy Stoklos, very popular down in Brazil where volleyball is a big-time sport. That is, of course, unless they're playing against other Brazilians. In this case, Paulo and Emílio. They're young, they're inexperienced. The crowd support will be essential to their success.
We're here for the 1992 World Beach Volleyball Championships on ESPN. Today's game is being brought to you by Outdoor Products, makers of backpacks, manufactured right here in the USA. And by McDonald's, where what you want is what you get at McDonald's today. Hello, everyone. I'm Adrian Carson with my partner, Paul Sunderland, at the 1992 International Beach Volleyball Championships. And, Paul, when you think volleyball, naturally, I think, and I think all Americans think, United States. So what are we doing here in Rio?
Well, we're the luckiest guys on earth. Brazil is certainly a beautiful place for beach volleyball, but you're right. Beach volleyball began in Southern California, but has grown in popularity to the point where there's beach volleyball competitions all over the world. We have teams representing 24 countries from 5 continents. Certainly the best teams still come from the United States, but everyone, like in basketball, would love to steal that medal.
The home court advantage belongs to Paulo and Emílio. Paul, what can we expect from them today?
Well, first of all Brazilians jump serve. They just about invented it. It's very important that they control the ball well, jump serve extremely well, and get this huge crowd into the match. Big question as to whether or not they'll have the endurance. It's been a long road into the finals for Paulo and Emílio. They fought their way through the losers bracket, and as a matter of fact, they lost to Smith and Stoklos 15-11 earlier in the tournament. Over 100 degrees on the court. Endurance will certainly be a huge factor.
Over on the other side of that hot court, we got some hot action provided by these two gentlemen. How did they get to this point here today?
Well, easily, quickly, the way Smith and Stoklos have done it throughout their career. They have great ball control, tremendous power. They've played the minimum number of matches, and I think that's a big advantage for the team representing the United States going in.
9 matches in 4 days. That's a short amount of time to get to your best. St. John actually would have liked to have had more time.
Actually, I would have liked to have played more games to get in shape, to get used to the conditions, to get more competition against the Brazilians. I don't think it's going to affect them too much because, you know, they should be in great shape. They're at the end of their season. We haven't even started our season. So I think they have the advantage.
Paul, I am not going to feel sorry for St. John Smith.
No, but St. John makes a good point. It's so difficult to go down to Brazil and play in that enclosed stadium. There's no breeze to cool it off. It's over 100 degrees. But this is an athlete, along with his partner, Randy Stoklos, that stay in tremendous shape all year round.
You're looking at Emílio, and the home boys will control the first serve. And what a fantastic advantage the home team crowd is. The initial serve from Emílio. Randy sets up St. John.
The one thing you'll notice from Smith and Stoklos as the match wears on, if Emílio and Paulo are unable to serve tough, is side out after side out. St. John Smith, the best passer in the world, I think. Randy Stoklos, the best setter. Ball control, again, at a premium.
Side out for St. John and Randy. Signature jump serve.
Smith all over the cut shot.
Great dig.
That's a great recovery by Paulo at the net.
Will he make it now? He taps it over.
Little tap down. Randy Stoklos oversetting this ball. The umpire, referee, calling St. John Smith into the net.
Now, what's the situation here as we take a look again, Paul?
Well, Stoklos sets the ball over the net. Big mistake to begin with. St. John Smith just with a little pokey. Called for the net, wondering if there's a little home cooking. Brazilian referee up top, 4,000 Brazilians screaming in his ear.
One more look from the low angle.
Again, Randy Stoklos wants to set this ball 2 feet back to give his partner some swinging room. Instead, big ball control mistake.
Back to live action now. A block at the net by Paulo.
Very important the Brazilians get off to a good start. Mistake by Smith and Stoklos, and then Paulo comes back, taking away the cross court. Big stuff block.
Emílio's responsibility now to maintain the serve. And he's long.
That ball just out of bounds. This crowd would have gone crazy if he aces Stoklos.
0 serving 1. St. John Smith, 34-year-old veteran. Here's the setup for Paulo. And it's wide left.
We talked about the inexperience of Paulo and Emílio, and that is the one thing that they certainly have to avoid. Unforced errors. You've got to make Smith and Stoklos work.
One serving one. Is there a period for settling in here, Paul?
Absolutely. Huge crowd. Smith and Stoklos have been in these situations before, but the crowd unnerves you, and the Brazilians will come out fired up. They've got to relax and get into a groove.
Great chance. Great effort by the Brazilians.
Easy free ball. Watch out for Stoklos.
Here comes Randy.
Boy, took it easy on him that time. I have seen him rearrange bodies with
I would
sets
never
like that.
want to be in the way of a kill or a spike. Even that sought from him.
Randy's still just getting warmed up. Nice shot off of Stoklos and out of bounds. Paulo doing an excellent job, what we call tooling the block. All Brazilians, it seems, have super quick arm swing. You've got to get your hands over the net early.
Side out Brazil. Here's Emílio with the serve.
That's tough jump serve.
Set for St. John.
Chance
Hits
to
the
score.
net, but it's over. Oh, in your face, St. John Smith.
Look at Emílio crank from the right side, and he's saying, come on, let's get into this. We're the young guys playing the best in the world, and giving St. John Smith heat.
Emílio, serving two now. Jump serve. Nice soft touch by St. John.
And the easy roll shot. When you pass and set the ball perfectly, all you got to do is find the open area away from the defense. Easy side out. Got to remember, we're only playing 2 out of 3. I should say only 2 out of 3 to 12 instead of the normal 15 points. So every rally, very, very important. Got to score when you have a chance.
Good dig by Paulo. And blocked at the nets.
I don't think that ball ever cleared. That's a point for Smith and Stoklos.
They're going to take a break, and we'll do the same. They'll change sides when we come back. Smith and Stoklos will be serving 3 versus 2. From Randy Stoklos, the first $1 million man of this sport, but they are well received down in this part of the world.
Well, for St. John and I, we've been playing down there for 6 years now. We've won the World Championship 5 out of 6 years. So we've now gotten a little bit of a following. It's not only that the Brazilians are rooting for the Brazilians, but we've got a lot of fans out there. They're actually calling us the Kings of Rio now. So it's kind of exciting in that when we go down there, we're getting a little bit of support. But obviously, they're true to their nation. When we play against the Brazilians, they're rooting for their country.
Well, I'm proud to be amidst royalty here in Rio, Paul.
But true to their nation is certainly the case in Brazil. These fans are unbelievable in support of the teams that represent Brazil. Paulo going hard cross court from the right side.
Boy, you don't see the upper body strength, I don't think, that you see on the American side of the net here, but they really do a great job of ball control.
Well, all the Brazilians play volleyball at a very early age. They play soccer, they play volleyball. Tremendous technique. They're just not as strong as the Americans. They're a perfect example. A tight set, Randy Stoklos going right over the top, asking for the touch from the referee, hits the ball right off the top of the Brazilian block. The Americans, just bigger, stronger, jump a little higher.
Side out for USA now. There's Randy with the serve.
Tough jump serve this time, just picking up the heat a little bit.
St. John sets up Stoklos.
Well, that's a bad ball control mistake by Emílio. Easy shot up the middle. Stoklos just trying to put pressure on the Brazilians, instead ends up scoring.
How do you place the ball in the serve now, Paul? What are you trying to do if you're Randy?
Well, Randy's moved over to the side, into the middle area of the court. He's working on Emílio, trying to serve their left side player. They sense that he's the weaker, making the ball control mistake from the player before, and now St. John Smith scores again, hitting the ball off of Paulo. They take the 5-2 lead.
Point for the Americans. St. John studies the net. Likes to play close to the net, it appears to me, today. Set for Paulo. And puts it right past St. John yet again. That's 3 now that I've seen go right past St. John Smith. Is it he's out of position, or is he just can't handle the ball coming at him that quickly?
Well, there's so much court to cover. Remember that the volleyball court outdoors is the same size as we use indoors at collegiate level or in the Olympics. Only 2 players covering. There's a lot of guesswork, and you just have to read, and sometimes you're not in the right spot.
Emílio with the jump serve. To St. John.
That's tight set. Stoklos has done that a couple of times. Big setting mistakes early. Surprise. Oh, look at that.
That is power volleyball.
Stoklos knows when he makes a mistake. He takes tremendous pride in his ability to set the ball. And just watch this one.
He takes pride and also takes it out on the opponent.
Well, Randy's got the complete game. He can set the ball better than anybody else in the game and is so big and strong, can just crush cross-quarter down the line. That's a nice shot this time by the Brazilians. When the Brazilians control the ball well, when they receive serve, when they set the ball well, they're able to compete. The challenge will be for them to score points. Stoklos jumping late, guessing where the ball's going to go. Paulo over the top.
St. John looking somewhat flat-footed to me on that last volley. And they recover well.
Sometimes defensively, if Smith reads that he's completely in the wrong location, they just let the ball go by. Remember, it's 100 degrees out there, very little wind, lots and lots of humidity. If you have no chance, you just save energy, go on to the next play.
Randy Stoklos with the jump serve. There's an ace. First one of the afternoon.
So many people think that the jump serve is all about pace. It's mostly about location. This time, Randy just goes a little high, almost over the head and shoulders of the Brazilians for the score on the back line.
6 serving 2 now. The set for Paulo.
Same situation. Smith is playing a little guessing game right now with Paulo. They have so much confidence, the Americans, that is Smith and Stoklos, in their ability to side out and get possession again. He's just going to stay in the cross court and wait for Paulo to hit the cut shot, and then he'll take advantage.
Not the line drive serve we've seen now. There's a confrontation at the net, and point goes to...
No, Paulo's in the net. You can never touch the net at any time, blocking, playing defense, moving on the court. Paulo just trying to reach a little bit too far against Smith, made contact with the net.
St. John will serve.
So
and here's
far,
the set for Paulo on the right side of the court.
There's the dig cross court. Patience being paid off. There you go. They have so much confidence in their ability to just gain possession. The Brazilians can't score against them, so Smith is just going to stay in the cross court. And here's their ability to transition. The Brazilians right now, their ball control game is breaking down.
Good touch by Paulo. Emílio sets him up, and there's the spike.
Well, they can hammer the ball, but that's only one part of beach volleyball. You've got to be able to pass, serve, block, play good defense, and concentrate out in these incredible weather conditions. And right now, the younger Brazilians look a little bit tired.
2 serving 7. Now that looks like a clear case of being out of position to me.
Well, the Brazilian Emílio playing defense behind Paulo was guessing cross court, guessing cross court. St. John knows he's there, recognizes he's there. Stoklos calls it out. St. John goes the other direction.
Serve from the 31-year-old Stoklos now. And there's a cross-court spike by Paulo.
Excellent cut shot. And I'm really surprised that Smith and Stoklos are serving Paulo. He seems to be dealing with the jump serve better and just slicing and dicing off the angle. Smith, no chance.
Brazilians control the serve now. Here's Emílio. Good form of the jump serve. Oh, well handled by St. John.
Paulo choosing not to block in this situation, and Smith so smart. As the blocker is retreating, it's very difficult to retreat defensively and get in a position with your hands at the ready to play defense at the same time. Smith, very, very smart.
It is power and control at the same time, isn't it?
And equally as important, maybe control more important than power in this game.
St. John Smith caught to the left side of the court, but that's where I think I would have headed to with the ball going over the net the way it did.
Well, Paulo has shown that he really prefers to roll the ball over the top, but Smith and Stoklos just playing a very, very conscious guessing game right now. They have no problem with siding out. Chance for Brazil finally to get on the scoreboard once again.
Here's the set for St. John. Oh, great dive by Emílio.
Big swing.
Great recovery. Look at this volley. Here's the set for Paulo. Oh, and blocked by Randy at the net.
Out of bounds. Emílio scores. That will get this Brazilian crowd back in the match.
And we'll be back in the match. 7 serving 3 after this break.
Smith coming out to set the ball, and Stoklos just trying to find somewhere to put this ball away. Right in Emilio's lap. The crowd is back into it right now as Emílio goes high and hard off the block of Randy Stoklos.
Well, the score 7-3. You'd almost expect the momentum to be in the hands of the Americans, but the Brazilians control the serve.
The Brazilians, Emílio and Paulo, have to serve much tougher. Right now, they're just lobbing the ball. Smith and Stoklos having an easy time siding out. And as long as Smith and Stoklos can stop the Brazilians from scoring, they will eventually just jump serve. They'll block a few. Smith will dig a few, and will cruise to this victory.
See that shot of Randy at 6'4", 215. I am really impressed by his power. Paulo now meets Randy right at the net.
Nice shot by Paulo up and off the block of Randy Stoklos. You can see him peek just a little look at Randy Stoklos. And if he were blocking at me, I'd peek a look as well. And just able to hit the ball softly off his outside hand and out of bounds for the side out.
There now, is that coaching by the front man?
Paulo is telling Emílio what he's going to do in terms of blocking. I'm going to take the cross court. I'm going to take the line. And Emílio will make the adjustment behind him.
Good dig by the Brazilians. There's another one.
Couple of overhand digs. Big swing. Right to St. John Smith.
Set for St. John. Set for Paulo.
Stoklos putting an end to that business. Long rally. The Brazilians showing you the kind of volleyball skills they have, playing good defense, but size, strength, blocking ability wins out. Stoklos with the big stuff.
Well, St. John and Randy have really got to be happy with the timing that both of them have at the net. They're complementing each other very well, I think, Paul.
Well, Stoklos will take away the line. St. John will dig angle and vice versa, but nobody's going to get this good cut shot.
Well, Emílio pumping up Paulo now because he did a great job in placing that ball.
And I'm surprised that Smith and Stoklos continue to serve Paulo. Maybe they think he's tired, but he's been siding out very well.
Well, now here's a serve we haven't seen. Almost lackadaisical. Very simple for St. John to handle, it looks like.
He just crushes that one hard off the tape cross court for the easy side out, but the Brazilians have no chance unless they jump serve, in my opinion, and score points against Smith and Stoklos serving. Otherwise, they have no chance.
There's the man with 110 career victories, Randy Stoklos.
Smith all over that. Patience again paying off.
Brazil almost retreating now at the net.
Nice
dig by St. John. Smith at the net, almost faking out their opponent.
Boy, two mistakes back to back. The Brazilians and the Americans setting the ball over the net, and Stoklos, like the long rally before, he stuffed blocks. This time, hammers cross court. Pretty good play by the Brazilians. They're picking up their defense. They're scrambling. They're doing what they need to. Now, Stoklos gives them a free ball. Emílio gives it right back to the Americans, and then Stoklos says, it's too hot out here. Let's get out of here.
They're sucking some air, without a doubt. Look at him. Head down, knee in the sand.
I'm surprised to see the Brazilians so tired. Smith shows you the patented defense through the years, and then here comes the ball control mistakes, and eventually Stoklos says, good night.
He was the MVP on the tour 3 out of the last 4 years. Something that Paulo and Emílio, I guess, are recognizing right now on the receiving end.
Big rocket by Emílio. Now I guess I see why they haven't been serving Emílio. Better chances to score against Paulo. Emílio with a rocket down the left sideline.
Side out for Brazil now. Emílio controls the serve.
Still no jump serve. This is not putting pressure on Smith and Stoklos. Big block, however, by Paulo. Look at Emílio pumping it up.
And here comes the crowd.
14,000 strong. If Paulo and Emílio can get within a couple, this crowd will go crazy. Stoklos giving away the cross court very early, and Paulo getting in front and stuffing him.
4 serving 8.
Ooh, not twice in a row.
Randy, when you're player of the year like that, you come right back. You don't let something like that bother you.
Randy doesn't bother moving the ball around as much as St. John Smith. He just, look, he's disgusted with himself. He says, this guy may block me once, but I'm going to crank past him the second time.
Great view now. The serve coming right at you as if you were on the court.
That's a perfect pass. Oh! Stoklos getting some revenge right here. St. John Smith just getting the ball in play, letting his big partner do all the work right now.
If you want to beat me, you're going to have to do it on your home court. St. John Smith with the serve now.
Tough serve. Oh, look at that. The Brazilians right now just not reacting. Smith not even bothering to jump serve. Throws in the little patty cake short serve. Emílio doesn't react, and Stoklos scores with it.
10 serving 4 now. Remember, we're only playing to 12.
Paulo's got to side out here, get the pressure off Brazil, and instead, cut shot out of bounds will change sides.
Well, the breather comes at a good time for the Brazilians, Paulo and Emílio. As St. John Smith checks his watch, sees it's time to take a break. Let's do the same when we come back. They've got the chance to put game 1 away. They're up 11-4. Copacabana Beach. with St. John Smith at game points. They're up 11-4. As you look at Paulo ready to receive his serve.
Very important that the Brazilians get something positive going into game 2. Very unlikely that they could come back against Smith and Stoklos and take game 1 down 11-4, but this is a 2 out of 3 game match. They're used to the temperature. They're used to the humidity. You can see Smith and Stoklos, as easily as they've been winning, still really working up a sweat.
Yeah, and you can see the determination in their faces here, Paul. They're trying to win back the ball. And, oh, look at the dive by the Brazilian. Great recovery, great volley. And he finally puts it away.
He's just an impatient cat, you know. When he wants to put an end to a rally, he just stuffs the ball or cranks cross court down the line.
Taking nothing away from the physical effort, though. That's world championship laying out there, Paul.
Well, but the Brazilians, Emílio and Paulo, with a good hustle play, that's the kind of positive action they need out on the court, again, to carry over some momentum into game 2. They're getting routed here, but they've got a big chance to turn things around.
The serve from Randy.
Again, working on Paulo down the line.
And he puts one right past St. John. Now, it seems to me that they're working the back end of that court a little bit, and that's where they're getting the majority of the points off the Americans.
Well, there's good communication between the Brazilians. After Emílio sets the ball, he will yell to Paulo where St. John Smith is playing defense. If he's in the angle, he'll yell line. If he's playing short, he'll yell deep. Very, very important that you communicate after each and every contact. Again, signaling, blocking positions. Paulo telling Emílio, we serve St. John Smith, I'm going to take an area, you go defend the other.
Here's the setup now for Emílio. And it's in.
Pretty good pokey right over the top. Paulo, Emílio getting smarter, not wanting to challenge Randy Stoklos. All you have to do is find the open area. At the end of a long rally, you communicate, just call the shots, pokey to the open area. Now, where's St. John Smith? Which way does he break? Really just stand still. Gets a late break on the ball, probably realizing this game is over, conserving some energy.
At the net. Randy, goes high. A block, but goes well beyond the boundary. Randy, like he's done other times in this game, Paul, is really keeping the Americans out of trouble.
Well, Paulo has not shown that he can stop either Randy Stoklos or St. John Smith, so the hitters just go up and continually challenge the block, high and hard off the top of the block.
Game point, and there's that sky ball by St. John Smith.
This has become his signature, just to change the momentum.
This could be it.
That's a bad free ball pass. Emílio getting tired here.
Nice dig by St. John. Here's the setup.
That'll do it. Inside Emílio. Paulo never got back to the net to block. Game 1 goes to Smith and Stoklos.
They take it 12-5. They take a breather again. We will do the same. And when we come back, they're a game away from the World Championship. 15,000 people. They left 20,000 standing outside at 10 a.m. this morning.
The seats were full at 7 a.m., 14,000 strong, and this is what they came to see. Their young Brazilian team scrambling, trying to beat the best team in the world, Smith and Stoklos. But this is exactly why St. John and Randy have been so successful, continually getting themselves out of trouble. You can see Emílio giving up near the end there. St. John Smith ripping the ball down inside the block.
That was game point from game 1 that they took 12-5, and now they make some modifications to their uniforms. There isn't a whole lot of weight to lose there, as Randy Stoklos actually makes some modifications to the court itself.
Just a little house cleaning, you know, like they say in golf. You have to replace their divots, and at 6'4", 220 pounds, Randy creates some craters, actually trying to make a flat surface for himself so he can move along the net, jump hard, block effectively.
Referee is ready to go, as are we, and here comes St. John Smith and the Americans serving to Brazil.
Important that Brazil get off to a great start early. Paulo cranking down the line, Stoklos making a blocking mistake, taking away the angle to begin with, then not making the adjustment down the line.
Side out for Brazil. Here is Emílio and his serve. Jump serve.
Still no problem at all with a jump serve for St. John Smith. Emílio breaking left, St. John Smith cutting back across his body into the angle. I'll tell you, Adrian, unless the Brazilians can score some points jump serving, and it doesn't look like they can against Smith and Stoklos, I think Smith and Stoklos are going to cruise through game 2.
Randy taking a couple of steps up into his serve really brings that trajectory down, and that ball is long.
The Brazilians continue to make ball control errors. And remember, we talked about the Brazilians having to play 9 matches instead of the easier route to the finals for 4 for Smith and Stoklos. I really think the Brazilians starting to get tired, and it's showing.
And that ball will be wide. Now another point for the Americans.
Another unforced error. Smith and Stoklos having to do nothing but put the ball in play. The Brazilians, this young, inexperienced team, making a lot of mistakes early in game 2.
Randy and St. John not letting off the ball at all, I would say, though, Paul.
So look at the Brazilians. They're really not reacting. They can feel that Smith and Stoklos have taken control of this match. And Randy and St. John have played long enough and been in this situation often enough to know that when you have a team down, you just have to kick them and get the match over with.
Well, St. John takes time to pull a little more fuel back in the system.
You've got to be very careful to take your fluids. Again, Rio de Janeiro, one hot place. But right now, it's Smith and Stoklos who are hot and continue to take advantage of unforced errors by the Brazilians, Paulo and Emílio. They look very, very disheartened right now.
Just don't seem to be making the effort that they were early on in game 1, Paul.
Well, they're not executing. You know, they're not passing the ball. They're not getting in a good side-out rhythm. They're getting no opportunities to score. And Smith and Stoklos going to try to crush them and get this match over with.
Well, that serve is long, so side out now for the Brazilians, a golden opportunity that they cannot afford to let pass them by.
The Brazilians have got to make a move here. Serve tough. There are 14,000 people who are just waiting for a chance to get off their seats.
Well, St. John gets up off his feet there, Paul, if you let me play with the English language a little bit, and scores a side out for the United States.
Again, ball control is the key. St. John Smith, perfect pass to the net. Randy Stoklos with a perfect set results in an easy side out.
Boy, he's almost hitting that ball down on the serve, isn't he? But, of course, the Brazilians come right back and hit it right back down on the court at them.
Nice,
side out Brazil.
Nice play by Emílio on 2. It was a bad pass by Paulo. Emílio too tight to the net, couldn't set the ball, just spiked it on 2.
0 serving 3. Oh, Randy Stoklos. Beautiful set by St. John. You've really got to give credit to them both there because you can't spike without the other to set you up like that.
Perfect combination, again, between passer, setter, and hitter. The Brazilians continue to serve the ball much too easily.
Now, that almost seemed like he set the ball a little bit too high for Paulo to control there as well.
Not a bad-looking play. Paulo really not showing a lot of confidence going up against Randy Stoklos, and you can understand that. Just hit the ball softly into the block and able to sneak it off his hands and out of bounds.
Here's Paulo's serve. Set for St. John.
Look at the cut shot.
Nice touch.
Look at Emílio playing behind the block of Paulo, just kicking at the sand. Absolutely no chance defensively.
St. John Smith been on the tour now for 15 years with 130 career victories.
Won over $260,000 last year. Randy Stoklos, St. John Smith won 14 events last year on the Miller Lite Pro Beach Tour, and you can see the execution, why they are so successful.
Oh, great one-handed dig there by St. John, who charges the net beautifully and puts it just past Paulo.
Hitting, blocking, defense, experience, all of it. Look at St. John Smith playing defense down the line outside the block. Look at this bump set. Not only is it in perfect location, but Randy Stoklos had to set the ball high enough to give Smith time to recover from his defensive position on the court back to the net.
Let's see where St. John places this serve now.
Going back to Paulo once again. They've been working him all match long.
Again to the right side of the court. Side out for Brazil, yes, but very predictable, it looks to me, Paul.
Well, Smith and Stoklos have been serving Paulo throughout the match. Emílio trying to encourage him to move the ball around. But Smith and Stoklos, again, because they've been siding out so well, are perfectly willing just to play a waiting game, and Paulo will make the mistakes.
Here's the set for Randy.
Nice chop.
And just barely in.
Nice chop back to the line. Not really hitting the ball that hard, but just seeing Paulo move the block way inside, open area, over his shoulder, back to the line.
4 serving 0 now.
Tough serve between the Brazilians. Should be an easy chance for Smith and Stoklos.
There's the set. And it works. Just the way they wanted it to. The score is 5-0 when we come back. Randy and St. John will be serving, ready for the ball when it comes over the net.
Well, you're talking about as good as Emílio and Paulo have played throughout the course of this tournament. You're talking about the best team in the world in pro beach volleyball against a couple of kids, really, who are just emerging. And right now, Emílio and Paulo are starting to realize that they're probably in over their heads.
Randy Stoklos ready for his 2 to 3 step delivery on the serve. And we're back underway. There's the set for Emílio. And the ball was wide.
And feeling the pain, trying so hard, wanting to do so well in front of this huge crowd, playing for your country in this international competition, but this young team just making way too many mistakes.
Well, you can see Paulo saying, let's get it on. We've got no choice. Here's the set.
Nice crank by Paulo. Took a look. He's been looking up for Randy Stoklos throughout the match. He looked up. The big guy wasn't there. Smith playing some defense here. Here's the pokey. Now watch Paulo. He takes a look right there. Hey, he's not here. I can swing away.
Is that a player's dream? I mean, that's really, you really got to get cranked up for something like that, I would think.
Well, at this point in the match, he's just very glad anytime Stoklos is not blocking against him.
No chance there. St. John really puts it over with some aggressiveness.
Well, this is just a machine. You know, it's like a finely tuned race car, and you've got to throw something into the mix to get them out of their groove. Usually it's good jump serving or very good blocking, and the Brazilians have been unable to bring that to the match.
Something I'm also seeing is St. John and Randy still paying close attention to detail here. Good dig by St. John. Whoa! A few coarse words from St. John to his partner, Randy. Is this what happens when you get two aggressive players like this together, though, Paul?
Well, the reason they've been so successful is because they are both very, very competitive, and sometimes it spills over towards one another. You know, I have seen them scream at each other, yell at each other, push each other, and then do this. Talk, make up. There's no damage done. All they want to do is win and be the best.
Well, we just saw Randy come right back and put it down their throat, and now he controls the serve. The set for Emílio. And he's wide.
Interesting move by Randy Stoklos. Very smart. The ball set right on top of the tape. Emílio's only chance was to hit the ball off Randy Stoklos' hands. He just pulls his hands down, puts them in his pockets. Emílio cooperates, hits the ball straight out of bounds.
Well, let's take another look at it. Now, you see him getting his hands set.
Now, this ball's
Paulo
just
charges the net.
This ball is set too tight, right on top of the net. See, Randy pulls his hands down. Emílio is looking to hit the ball off Randy Stoklos. Stoklos jump serves, sprints to the net. St. John Smith getting in defensive position. Emílio, boom, cranks the ball 2 feet out of bounds.
You've really got to know in the two-man game where your partner is as they move ahead. We'll move ahead here shortly when we come back. The score is 7-0, the Americans. Champions Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith are 5 points away from a second consecutive world title here, Paul. Score now 7-0. As Randy serves into the nets. Now that's something, maybe fatigue taking its toll here.
Well, I just think probably a lack of concentration. You come out of a timeout, big 7-0 lead staring you in the face on the scoreboard, and just losing your edge just for a second. Smith and Stoklos have to be very, very careful. Brazilians still a volatile team with 14,000 people getting ready to crank up for them. But Smith comes right back and silences the crowd.
Really crowding the right side of the court there. I was kind of surprised he didn't come back left with it.
Well, after Stoklos sets the ball, he'll sneak a look at the defense. And if Emílio is in the angle, he'll just tell St. John line, and St. John will roll the ball over the top. Back-to-back service errors. That's like one of the cardinal rules of volleyball. Never serve out twice in a row. You've got to keep pressure on the opposition.
The result is side out, 0 serving 7.
Same call. You can barely hear Randy Stoklos. He'll set the ball, and Paulo's going, what do you want me to do? I can't touch the ball. You're over in the angle. But the key is Smith and Stoklos are passing and setting the ball perfectly.
Boy, really getting some vertical underneath his feet there as Randy Stoklos with that serve. Now, how could they have played that better? Was St. John just out of position? It was just a great setup and hit over the net by the Brazilians.
Nice play. A perfect side out by the Brazilians. Everything starts with the pass. They control the ball well, set the ball in good position. You know, I mean, St. John Smith's not going to get to everything. Out of 10 balls, if defensively you can get to 3 or 4, you're doing a great job. The other team will side out 60-70% of the time.
Here's the set now for Paulo.
Paulo returning the favor with a good defensive read. Hanging in the angle. Stoklos maybe giving Smith a bad call. Calling angle. St. John cuts off. Now, look at Paulo going up. St. John Smith just staying in the middle of the court. The shot too good from Paulo. And finally, the Brazilians are on the board.
1 serving 7. Were I on that court, I would have been expecting to see the ball come all the way across with the way he was looking. And now,
ever since the timeout at 7-0, The Americans, St. John Smith, Randy Stoklos, have been playing very flat, almost expecting the Brazilians to go away. That's not going to happen.
Well, Paul, cheering sounds the same in any language as 14,000 South American voices come to life here.
Serving Stoklos. This is a mistake. You cannot go to Randy Stoklos unless you bomb the jump serve at him.
That's
He's
like
not
a gift.
He's not as good a passer as St. John Smith, and even Emílio giving Stoklos the thumbs up here on the rocket down the line.
Brazilians awaiting the serve of St. John Smith. The set for Paulo.
Stoklos with the deflection. Nice dig by Paulo.
Good recovered by Randy. Little backhand move by St. John.
Oh, and Emílio makes Smith pay for the lazy backhanded shot.
And here comes the crowd.
And here come the young Brazilians. And if you think these throngs won't get Emílio and Paulo fired up, you're dead wrong.
This is the global acceptance of one of the fastest rising games in the world. And that is the acceptance of one of the fastest spikes in the world.
Well, sometimes, you know, when you just control the ball so much better than your opposition, you're gonna quiet the crowd, although it sounds like it's impossible. The Brazilians are given their first chance of something to cheer about.
This is set for Paulo now.
Nice shot inside Stoklos. Again, ever since the 7-0 timeout, Smith Stoklos playing a little slowly, missing some serves, allowing the Brazilians to get some momentum.
Do you defend that better, Paul, by stepping further back away from the net, though?
No, just the opposite. Randy did not block that ball because he didn't reach far enough over the net. Got to stay aggressive all the time. You reach as far over the net as your abilities will possibly allow.
Well, Brazil rather serves right into the net, side out now for the Americans. And the set for Emílio.
Nice shot.
Again, you don't have to spike it every time and put it down their throat. Just put it where the man isn't.
Just slice off the angle this time. St. John Smith covering the line. Randy Stoklos blocking in the angle. Roll shot over the top.
2 serving 7. And a great set for Randy. Right down the pipe.
See, Paulo may be as tall as Randy Stoklos, probably doesn't jump as well, and has been unable to stop him at all blocking at the net. Stoklos just having his way as a hitter right now.
Take a look again at that upper body strength of Randy. I think it really makes a difference here. A little bit too much upper body strength there. Or was it in now?
No, that ball's called in down the line. Second
championship on the line, Paul. Maybe the boys in red, white, and blue got a little help on this last point. What do you think?
Well, I can't believe that with Brazilian umpires and linesmen. The float serve down the line. All it has to do, the ball hit any part of the rope.
Well, if that hits any part of the rope, it's extreme back end of the rope, I think.
A microfiber to score for Smith and Stoklos.
All right, 8 serving 2 as America controls the serve now. Last-ditch opportunity, I think, for Paulo and his teammate Emílio.
With a change of sides, Stoklos going back to the jump serve.
Look how close to the net Stoklos is.
Nice
And it
shot.
cost him there, but that really is the...
Possibly can, but what Paulo needs to do is dial up a jump serve ace, and instead he goes for the floater.
2 serves 8. Ouch.
See, that serve just doesn't put any pressure on Smith and Stoklos at all. I think it's a good strategy sometimes to serve Randy Stoklos in spite of the fact that he's a harder hitter than St. John Smith because he doesn't pass the ball as well. But that only works when you jump serve him very, very tough.
Does St. John's game change at all here now, Paul, or does he just play for the win at this point?
Oh, he's just trying to get this match over with. You saw him coming out of the side change. He's soaking wet. He wants to go for another championship. There's $24,000 first prize money. He's going to come out and play his game.
Well, with that kind of cash and a world championship on the line, the Brazilians say the heat is on. We're down by 7. Let's take a timeout here. Paul, a question for you. I see
unable to control the unforced errors.
Paul, St. John Smith is 34. How much longer can he play?
I think he can play 4 or 5 more years. As he grows older, I don't think his ball control skills will diminish. And as long as he can pass the ball and play some defense, they will be able to win. The question is, how much longer will he be able to keep the big man in front of him, Randy Stoklos?
Well, he only has to keep him for 2 more points here, and they're walking away with a world championship. Quiet crowd here in Brazil. They had something to cheer about early on in the first game and early on in the second game, but I think it's finally kind of fait accompli at this point.
Well, you know, the crowd has been very quiet, but they're also very knowledgeable of high-level, world-class volleyball and very appreciative of the efforts and talents of St. John Smith, Randy Stoklos.
Emilio and Paulo have stepped off the court for a moment. Let's take a look at the last point here.
Randy Stoklos making a big move into the cross court against Emilio, completely denying the angle. Now Randy Stoklos says, yeah, they only have one more timeout left. That is about the first time I've ever seen Stokey smile at a referee, but I guess anything goes when you're up 10-2.
Well, even up 10-2, you can still see the determination in the eyes of Paulo here, Paul. As they retake the court and await the serve of St. John Smith. 2 points away from a world championship. Here's the set.
Nice chop into the angle by Paulo, but now it's just a matter of time, and Paulo and Emilio should be very proud of themselves. They were not the most highly regarded Brazilian team, but they beat some of their own countrymen, players from around the world. They advanced into the finals, but probably in their heart of hearts knew they really didn't have a chance against St. John Smith, Randy Stoklos.
2 serving 10.
Not going to go away quietly, and Paulo will remember that play, tell his children about it.
I could feel that one all the way up here. There was some real percussion on that.
The key to this match, though, is that the Brazilians have never really put a lot of pressure on Smith and Stoklos. First of all, serving much too easily. See, look at this, just slicing off angles. You have got to take Smith and Stoklos out of their game by serving tough every time back. You have to take chances. You're the underdog going in.
Serve goes to the Americans now. Randy Stoklos. Line drive serve.
Tough pass by Emilio with a little tap down.
Nice, quick move over there.
Paulo getting to the ball quickly. Stoklos with a rare mistake. You've got to be up blocking on this ball. This ball's 50-50. Anybody's ball right here, and Stoklos just stays down pretty passively playing defense.
Randy sets up St. John and drives it right past the both of them. Again, flat-footed. They probably could have gotten to that ball.
Well, Emilio just not making a move. What you have to do is make a move after every ball. If you decide as soon as the ball's hit, I can't get to that, you're just not going to be a good defensive player out on the beach.
Good, strong serve by St. John. Great positioning.
Look at this set. Oh, hitting error by Smith.
And the ball's wide.
Look at Smith patting himself on the head. Hit the ball right to Emilio, and the young Brazilians at this point consoling each other. Smith and Stoklos 1 point away from the match.
Championship point. Do we expect to see the sky ball?
Absolutely.
And there you have it.
100 feet straight up.
They're going to be 100 feet off the ground if they win this point.
That's it.
And they do. Your 1992 World Beach Volleyball champions, Randy Stoklos and St. John Smith.
Appreciative crowd. A pretty easy victory, but I'll tell you, the money spins just the same.
What a great gesture by the South Americans who come just to see a fantastic volleyball match. And they certainly got their money's worth. We'll be back to take a look at the highlights from today's championship right after this.